Corey was playing the pranks, and Ron eventually found out about it. But Ron made the mistake of not telling Beverly, and she's afraid of the dark, and he was so in the doghouse.
Dylan was the one who had originally suggested that we do a show with a little bit of a dark side, a spooky kind of theme. He was really into those type of programs. I was not so much, so I held back a little bit at first, but you know, it's teamwork and it's all of us coming together. So I compromised. We did something that had a little bit of that tone to it, but it was very lighthearted and very, not really very dark at all.
I am a big horror fan. I love horror films, so getting an opportunity to act on something that kind of has that thriller or suspenseful aspect to it, like this one did, the ghost episode, was really fun to have the lights go out and have people be scared and to be talking about ghosts. It was just so like thrilling for me, because it was like, oh, I'm working on a horror film, but it's a variety show, you know, it's not really that scary. But it was fun, and also showed the audience again that Corey playing pranks might be something he does all the time. It might be his little thing to do on set. So it was fun to reveal that it was Corey the whole time, but it was also really fun to have that thriller aspect to it, because that's something I've always wanted to do as an actor, is act in something that has, or I guess that's in that genre.
I think, yeah, that's when the Corey character really started to evolve and being this prankster, slightly dim-witted but always lovable character that always bothered Ron.
Oh my gosh. Dylan. Corey. I don't even know what to say.
Tough life for Corey.
But we did have fun with the idea that Corey would establish a series of pranks to try and convince the rest of us that the studio was haunted. And the main component of that was simply shutting the lights off at various points. And it was Shannon who contributed the idea of the different characters' reactions. She was like, well, you know, Beverly could be really afraid by the whole thing, really taken in. Ron's just not buying it at all. And then Shannon's like thinking, wow, this is cool. There might be some kind of, you know, activity going on. And that really played out nicely between all the different characters.
The last scene of that episode is when Ron's, comforting Beverly, and he hasn't told her that he knows that I was the one who was causing the lights. There's no ghost. Nobody died in the studio. And then my character comes in there because he has a knack for coming in or saying something at the wrong time and says, Ron, I'm so sorry, I feel really terrible that I did that, the joke went too far. And that's an eye-opener for Beverly when she's like, you like me so much, you would manipulate me into thinking that a ghost was haunting here, so I would just hug you. It was so funny, and it was really fun to I guess, react to Ron getting so angry and him chasing me off the stage. It was a fun time, and I got to work out, so it was good.
So at one point, I actually discover that Corey is behind all of the pranks that are going on, all of the lights going out and the disappearing scripts and whatever else. And so, I confront him and I say, you need to stop this. And then I go to tell Beverly about it, and she's still like clinging to me, afraid that whatever. And so, of course, I am not able to bring myself to tell her that it was Corey doing this, which leads to a little unpleasantness at the end of the show. That's all I'll say about that.
Yeah, that ended pretty badly for Ron. That show, the entire show ended so badly.
The ghost episode also started a phrase that we use constantly on the show, which is, you bother me sometimes. It was something that Ron constantly said to Corey, because he really did bother him. He bothered a lot of people. But it was something that Ron constantly said to Corey, because he really did bother him. He bothered a lot of people. It was something that Ron constantly said to Corey, because he really did bother him. He bothered a lot of people. But it was something that Ron constantly said to Corey, because he really did bother him. He bothered a lot of people. But it was something that Ron constantly said to Corey, because he really did bother him. He bothered a lot of people. But it was something that Ron constantly said to Corey, because he really did bother him. He bothered a lot of people. But it was something that Ron constantly said to Corey, because he really did bother him. He bothered a lot of people. But it was something that Ron constantly said to Corey, because he really did bother him. He bothered a lot of people. But it was something that Ron constantly said to Corey, because he really did bother him. He bothered a lot of people. But it was something that Ron constantly And I remember this one was more serious. It was more, you know, like, you seriously bother me, and where the other ones were more playful. So, like, when that line was said to me, I just kind of was like, oh, you know, and kind of laughed. And I remember people watching it saying, like, oh, that's so sad, you know? And it wasn't supposed to be like this sad, hurtful thing, but just the first time it came off, you know, more serious. And so I just reacted more like hurt. But later on through the show, it's just kind of a thing he says to let Corey know, like, dude, you know, calm down a little bit.
In this show, Corey gets to introduce an act for the first time, and that act is the Good Memories Funeral Home.
I don't know where you come up with that stuff. Did you just drive by a funeral home and be like, oh, that's good memories coming from that funeral home?
Good Memories Funeral Home was borrowed from a radio production company that I had been involved with sometime earlier. And it came over into the show, I would say about 95% original to how it was then. And it was fun to sort of take something from an old project and kind of bring it into a new project and do it our way. And I thought it was very funny in the sense that it's unusual. It's not a topic that is often joked about in that way, which needs to be done sensitively because it could be offensive if done the wrong way. So I thought we maintained a good balance there, and I thought it was a very appropriate skit for the overall feel of that episode.
Yeah, we were talking about how most advertisements for medications will list all these crazy side effects, and some of them actually make you feel like you should just live with what you got instead of taking this medication and having all this other crazy stuff going wrong with you. So yeah, I just wrote a skit.
With me as the patient and Corey as the doctor, and he's telling me all these different side effects. If, you know, I'm going to prescribe this medicine, but it has this and it has that and it has that.
I was reading off of my script just because it was so hard to remember everything and to go off of that. And so I was wearing glasses not to just enhance the character because I needed it to see so I could read what was on the page.
Pretty soon the side effects get to where they're including, you know, getting hit by a bus and
an alien invasion and bloody toes.
This show also included the second Corey Connor magic act. Once again, Amanda having difficulty cooperating. You know, she can't memorize the card, so she forgets if it's the right one or not, which kind of defeats the purpose.
All the magic acts actually did work, but they just somehow, something was awry and totally discombobulated everything. And Corey ended up maintaining a reputation of sucking at magic acts.
I think because me and Shannon went to school together, I think we had gotten to a little, I guess we got annoyed at each other with something, so I couldn't remember, but we brought that onto set when we were filming that because the characters were both really annoyed at each other, and in fact, we really were annoyed with each other.
You can just see his frustration, you know, come on, you've got to do this, you've got to get it to work. How can I do this if you, and it's wonderful.
It was a lot of fun, and it was good to kind of show that Corey, just even though he's, you know, very quirky and goofy, he can get, I guess, irritated. So it shows that he does really care about something, and magic is something that he really believed in, kind of like a child. But it was something, you know, that Amanda was messing up, that he was trying so hard to do right because it was something he was passionate about.